Patrick McCoy is one of the leading collectors of Chicago black art, and it shows. Art covers nearly every inch of his condo in North Kenwood. But it's this painting called Waiting for a Job that has special meaning. It's a long-lost piece by his father, Thomas McCoy, and the story behind how it ended up in his hands has never been told until now.
My father was a frustrated artist, and it was difficult to be around him. Kind of even touches me now to think about what had happened to him. He graduated from high school in Detroit, from Cass Tech, which was the #1 school in the city of Detroit, very similar to like Lane Tech is to Chicago. He graduated with honors and awards for his artistic abilities at 18 years old and received a scholarship to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. They actually sought him out because of the awards that he had. And a month after they had sent him this acceptance letter, they sent him a second letter that said, "We can't let you in here because you're black. You should know that." And they took it back, the scholarship, with no apology, no compensation, no nothing. I found out about this in the 1990s, just before he died. He had kept it a secret all of that time, his whole life, that this had happened to him. In 2018, now I, his son, am an art collector of note, and I received a request by the New York Times to come and do an interview of me and my collection. So I was in the room talking about the painting, The Nuclear Family, and talking about it and about what had happened to my father. They wrote that up in the article. Little did I know that somebody in Pittsburgh had read that article, and they had figured out that this T. McCoy on a piece that they owned was the same T. McCoy that I was talking about, my father.
The name on the back was always curious to me. I Googled that name, and a painting his father had done had come up. I believe it was The Nuclear Family, and nothing more. And it was curious to me that a guy with such talent had no other offerings. So I found Patrick. He had been well noted on the internet as a collector, and I just put two and two together that was his son.
They started calling me, and I didn't answer the phone because it was a Pittsburgh exchange, and I don't know anybody in Pittsburgh.
I called him for weeks in vain, and if not longer.
So it just kept going on, and months and months, almost out to a year.
And he never got in touch with me.
I got a call from my organization, Das Rhythms. They said, "This man from Pittsburgh has been calling, and he wants to talk to you, that he says he has a piece of your father's work." I said, in my mind, no, he doesn't. My father never went to Pittsburgh, didn't know anybody in Pittsburgh, so I was just really skeptical. But I said I would call the man, so I did call. He starts in immediately saying he has a piece of my father's work from 1935.
I was a young man kicking around a garage sale. There it was on the floor with a piece of masking tape on the glass for $3. I don't even know if I paid that for it. At the time, I just found it intriguing, very interesting. Characters, their form, the movement, everything about it was just curious to me.
So he showed me on the screen this yellowed card that had been attached to the back of the piece, and it had the principal's name of Cass Tech in 1935, the art teacher in 1935. My father's address when he lived in Detroit was in there, his signature, his age. I said, oh my God, this is my father's work. This was part of his portfolio that he had sent to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh in 1935. So I said, oh, I definitely want to have that.
Something in my heart told me that it was, meant for him. He was a collector, it was his father's. What a better piece to have than something that your father created.
But he said, I've been trying to get in touch with you for almost a year, and I'm getting ready to move. And I could not take this piece with me to my new place.
Reluctantly, I had limited space. I have a friend that runs that auction company, and I brought him over, and he saw it and just immediately gravitated towards it and said, this would be ideal. I let him select that, and he took it to the auction. Once that happened, it was made clear to me I was under contract with the auction company. That was it.
And it already, in that short period of time, had been bid over $1,000. And the bid was coming out of Washington, D.C. And I've discerned since that this was the Smithsonian, the African American Museum. I was very distraught because I realized no matter what I do, I could never get it. A girlfriend of mine who is an art appraiser and also had worked in the auction world, she was sitting there with me while we were looking at this, and she said, look down at the bottom of this card. And at the bottom, it said, typed out, do you want this returned? Because it was more than likely a form. And my father had put yes. And she said, you tell that man to pull this thing out of the auction immediately and to return it to you because it's stolen and you can't auction stolen items. He pulled it out of the auction with no problem and sent it back to me, and now I have it.
Oh, wow.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's going to be part of my collection and will be part of what I leave to the city of Chicago through the trust that I formed. It kind of overwhelms me because I now recognize what he was going through and why he was so reluctant to release anything that he had, is that his whole life was stolen from him. So, and I can feel it, but now I understand. So the circle's been closed. So I understand what he was going through because I did not understand it.
And Block Club Chicago also has a story on Patrick's extensive collection. You can check it out on blockclubchicago.org.